I'm going to keep this straightforward because the biggest question most of you have is whether a 24TB SSD RAID system is worth the space, the price, and the extra hardware you have to carry. If you're still on the fence about dropping a massive external drive into your workflow, I want to walk through the actual day-to-day experience, the hidden trade-offs, and who really gets the most out of a SanDisk Professional 24TB GRAID mirror bundle. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about why the market even has a product like this. The external storage world is split between cheap, high-capacity HDDs that take minutes to spin up and often require a separate backup plan, and fast, portable SSDs that rarely exceed a few terabytes. When you start shooting 8K video, doing multi-camera edits, or archiving raw photography work, you quickly outgrow a single 4 terabytes drive and you start worrying about data loss. That's where a mirrored RAID comes in. You get the speed of SSDs combined with on-the-fly redundancy, so a single drive failure doesn't mean you lose half a dozen project files. The SanDisk GRAID bundle is built around that premise, and it's aimed at professionals who need to move petabytes of data without waiting for a backup to finish. Who should consider buying this? If you're a freelance videographer who routinely works with 8K raw footage on location, a small post-production house that needs a shared drive for multiple editors, or a photographer who backs up a day's worth of raw files in under an hour, the capacity and the built-in mirror are exactly the kind of safety net you've been looking for. The Thunderbolt 3 interface is a key part of that equation. It gives you upwards of 40 gigabits per second throughput, which translates into real-world copy speeds that can hit 56 gigabytes per second in sequential tests. In practice, that means a 3-hour shoot can be offloaded to the GRAID while you're still setting up the next day's gear, and you won't be stuck watching a progress bar crawl. On the flip side, if your workflow is primarily office-based, you edit 1080p or 4K video on a single workstation, and you already have a solid NAS solution for backups, you'll probably find the price tag hard to justify. The bundle is also tied to Thunderbolt 3, so if your laptop only has USB-C without Thunderbolt support, you'll need an adapter or a new computer, which adds another layer of cost and potential bottleneck. Finally, the sheer physical size of a 24TB RAID enclosure is something to consider. It's not something you'll comfortably slide into a backpack for a coffee shop edit session. Now let's break down what you actually get out of the box. The bundle includes a pair of SanDisk ProBlade SSDs that magnetically attach to the enclosure, which is the ProBlade SSD Mag feature mentioned in the spec sheet. The magnetic attachment makes swapping drives a lot less fiddly than unscrewing a traditional rack. You can pop a drive out in under 10 seconds if you need to replace a faulty unit or expand the array later. The Easy Mode change refers to the software that lets you flip between RAID 0, striped for maximum speed, and RAID 1, mirrored for redundancy, without reformatting. In real use, I found the mirror mode to be the default for most of my work because the safety net outweighs the extra 12 terabytes of raw speed you'd get from striping. Switching modes is as simple as opening the SanDisk utility, toggling a checkbox, and letting the drive rebuild, a process that finishes in about 20-odd minutes for the whole 24 terabyte set, which is reasonable when you schedule it overnight. The keeping backup part is less a feature and more a philosophy baked into the hardware. Because each file is written to both SSDs simultaneously, you effectively have an instantaneous backup without needing a separate external drive or cloud sync. That's a massive time saver when you're moving gigabytes of footage every day. In my own testing, the moment a single SSD smart data flagged a looming failure, the system warned me, and I could swap the bad drive while the other continued to serve the mirrored copy, all without interrupting the editing workflow. What about the practical weaknesses? First, the price. At launch, the 24 terabytes GRAID sits well over $7,000, which translates to roughly $300 per terabyte, far more than a consumer-grade HDD but comparable to